That very English hymn, All Things Bright, Wise and Wonderful, there at St. Paul's Cathedral after words by the new UK Prime Minister, new UK Prime Minister, new King. Again, the whole world getting used to it. We're in the company of Nicolas Westcott, Director of the Royal Africa Society, former UK ambassador to Ghana. This new king takes over from somebody who was there the day Ghana became independent in 1957.
The Queen has in many ways embodied the Commonwealth itself. She was the person who shepherded the transition from empire to Commonwealth. She's the quintessence of it. And her passing will have a profound impact on the way Britain is seen in the world. As you say, she was there for the transition. She knew these independence leaders. She built good relationships with Nkrumah, with Nyerere, with Kenyatta, with Kaunda, with most of the independence leaders. And they respected her because she accepted them and she respected their independence. There was no nostalgia for an empire gone on the Queen's part. Her focus was on building a new relationship in a Commonwealth which was of equal nations.
It's always the question of, does a person matter? We heard earlier the former British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, salute her qualities as a diplomat. In those moments, and they were testy with people like Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, did her personality make a difference?
It did. And I think if there was one moment that encapsulated this change, it was her taking Nkrumah by the hand and dancing, or he taking her by the hand and dancing on her state visit to Ghana in 1959, 1960. And that sent a signal to her own people that these new countries were respected and she was treating them in that way. And it was an important signal for the rest of the world that independent countries were to be welcomed as an integral part, an equal part of the Commonwealth. So that gesture and her approach to independent African countries, all Commonwealth countries, was fundamental to rebuilding an association which countries wanted to belong to. It wasn't just the Queen, it was what she symbolised in that partnership.
25 years ago, I was in Kaduna, Nigeria, on the day when Princess Diana died, and there was a genuine feeling of sadness because these are familiar people. But is that familiarity fading over time?
It's not an uncontroversial issue. There are voices in Africa who say that the royal family were implicated in the sins of colonialism. And by association, yes, if you go far enough back, Queen Elizabeth sponsored the ships that discovered America, and the royalty was still closely involved in matters of state. In Queen Elizabeth's time, she was keen to maintain the difference between the government and its policies and her role as the head of state and head of the Commonwealth. You can't divorce them entirely, but I think there is a relevant distinction, and why the Queen remained a respected figure, someone to whom many people across the Commonwealth felt real affection, whatever the relations between the governments concerned. And I know Prince Charles will wish to follow in her footsteps with that kind of relationship, but there is a question whether that will last. And it is perhaps for the next generation to define a new relationship between the countries of Africa and this country. Bearing in mind we now have a significant population of people of African heritage who live here as part of Britain.
Who live here as part of Britain we have this kind of a grace period now between in what's been a vitriolically divided Britain ever since that 2016 Brexit referendum. It's not going to last, we know that. Is there something that the new king has to put back together again, or that's just not his remit?
There are two distinct things there. He will want to remain a figure of national unity and solidarity, whatever the politics going on. And secondly, he will want to maintain a spirit of Britain as a partner of all countries across the world, whatever the political relations. The Queen was able to do that because of her longevity, because she had built personal relations with many others. King Charles has a set of relationships as well, but in a different way, because he has not been the head of state himself. So he does have to build that, both inside the country with the devolved administrations, with the constituent nations of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and he will have to do it internationally. So there is a big task to do, and to sustain the kind of role that the Queen was able to play.
Sustain the kind of role, the brand, the Britain brand, and is it going to? The monarchy was such a key part of it. Are you worried?
I'm worried for the country. I'm less worried for the monarchy. I think people will realise that to have a monarchy remains valuable. A non-political head of state remains of value to the country as a whole. And I think that will remain a widely shared view. Looking at the rapid succession of political leaders that we've had, people, I think, value some continuity as the head of state, and someone who remains above the political fray of every day. So I don't see this giving rise to a Republican movement in the UK. There is a question in the Commonwealth, whether more Commonwealth countries will say the time has now come to cut the link to the royal family, though not necessarily to the Commonwealth as an institution.
I'm just looking through my notes here because we heard in that speech that moment where King Charles talked about the role of the monarchy in upholding the Constitution, and in the next breath said, "I know a lot of you are watching this." I'm paraphrasing here, from countries inside the Commonwealth. What was he saying there?
I think he was trying to express his continued commitment to the Commonwealth as well. It was accepted that he would become head of the Commonwealth, stepping into the shoes of the Queen. He
wasn't saying, "Do like me, don't have authoritarian bends, respect the rules."
I think he was saying, "I will not interfere in your politics." So to some extent it was maybe a signal that, it is your choice. If you wish to become a republic within the Commonwealth, you're still part of the Commonwealth. That's your choice. It's not for me.
All right. So much more to talk about on this topic. Of course, and many we're going to see in the days to come just what becomes of it. Nicolas Westcott, I want to thank you so much for being with us here on France.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.